Hey guys, Alex here. Just come down to the beach after working to do some sprints. I've been working on an article today. It should be going out tomorrow. It's actually a two-part series because it's already at about 7,000 words and I'm not even halfway yet, so I'm gonna have to split it up. But the topic is I'm looking at glyphosate. So most people know Roundup. Glyphosate's the active ingredient or chemical in glyphosate. So it's something I've been putting off writing for a while because I do have a lot of studies that I want to look through. So I've been doing that the last 2 or 3 weeks, and I'm finally putting it together. A few little facts that I'll share with you today if you don't want to read the whole article when it comes out. So a lot of people don't know, but Roundup use exploded in 1996, and the reason for that, the manufacturers of Roundup or glyphosate, Monsanto, come up with a seed that was known as Roundup Ready. And what that meant is the seed was resistant to Roundup. So Roundup, if you don't know, pretty much kills all plant matter. It stops the enzyme in plants from creating protein, so it dies. And Monsanto say that it doesn't affect humans and whatever, but that's part 2 of the article. So anyway, Roundup was great for killing weeds and for killing plants that you didn't want. But obviously if you sprayed it on the plant that you did want to keep, like your crop, then it was going to kill the crop. So what happened in 1996 was Monsanto came out with a genetically engineered or genetically modified organism, which was a seed that was resistant to Roundup, glyphosate. So you could spray Roundup or glyphosate on this crop, and the weeds around it would die off, but the actual crop itself, you know, the corn or the soybean or the rapeseed or whatever it was, wouldn't die. So what happened in 96, then farmers started using this because obviously it was heavily marketed. I don't want to get into that, but it meant that you didn't have to go and handpick what you were spraying. It meant you could literally spray the whole field, the whole crop, and that's what's happening. You'll see like big tractors or planes flying, like low flying over these crops, or tractors just going up and down spraying everything. So in the past, obviously that, or if you had organic or conventional crops, that would kill the whole crop, so no one would do that. But now all of a sudden these GM or GE crops are resistant to the strain. So yeah, farmers are planting their crops with this GM seed that Monsanto is selling, and then the farmers are going out and buying the Monsanto Roundup. So what's happened in 96 is as more and more people start using this, the demand or the use of Roundup is exploded, and it's now the world's most commonly used, or the most used chemical in the agricultural world. So yeah, it's widespread use. I mean, you see it everywhere, right? So that happened, but then as I was digging into like some of these research articles, I wanted to look at the impacts, or what sort of foods have been tested to show residual uptake of this glyphosate. So obviously things like corn and soybean and stuff are quite high because that's what Monsanto and the farmers are using to grow these GM crops, right? But I pulled up a report from the USDA, which is US Department of Agriculture, and they put out a 200-page report every year. It's called like the Pesticide Program or Pesticide Data Program or something. And it looks at all the pesticides coming into America and locally grown and everything, and it tests random samples from all over the country for exposure to heavy metals, things like that, but also pesticides. So anyway, I got the most recent report. It just came out about 3 months ago, 200 pages, and I'm looking through it and I can't find any mention of glyphosate. So I looked at the byproduct of glyphosate, which is known as AMAP, amino meth something. It's a long, ridiculous name. So that's what glyphosate breaks down into, which has still got its health dangers. So anyway, I looked at that, nothing, and I'm thinking, well, what the hell? This is 200 pages, it's got every single bloody pesticide known to man in there. So anyway, I went back a year, same thing. Went back 2 years, and I'm back to like the 2002 report. Glyphosate's not even mentioned. So I'm digging around a little bit, and the USDA issued a statement in 2011 or 2012 saying we don't test for glyphosate because we have done some small time testing, and we found that glyphosate wasn't present in the sample. So I go find this sample test that they did, and what it was 300 soybeans, so it's not much, it's quite a small sample size, and they tested it from one farm or one state, was like Kansas City or something like that, and they tested those beans for glyphosate exposure, and they found, and this is on their website, they found that 90% of those beans had glyphosate contamination, and 95% of those beans had AP contamination, which is a glyphosate byproduct. So, 280 or whatever of those beans out of the 300 had glyphosate. However, the contamination levels ranged from 1.5 parts per million, I believe it was, up to 18.5 parts per million. And what does this mean? Well, the EPA, which is the Environmental Protective Agency, which is an American agency, they set the limits of what those tolerance numbers have to be, and then the USDA just works off those tolerances. If the EPA says, yeah, this is anything below that is good, everything above that is dangerous. So that's the rule, so to speak. So the limits that the EPA set out stated that glyphosate contamination of 20 parts per million and below was considered safe. So that one study with the 300 beans, the highest contamination reading was 18.5, which is, it's getting pretty close to that 20 parts per million level, right? But because it was below, they didn't have to worry about it. Now, to put this in perspective, that's just an American standard. The countries all around the world have different standards. So, for instance, New Zealand's standard for glyphosate on fruit is very, very strict. European Union is quite strict, but then America is pretty relaxed. So you can pull up all this data, and this is what will be in this my blog when it goes out tomorrow. But so I mean, even though the EPA said it's fine, I mean, another country would say that's dangerous. So anyway, that one study that was done in 2011 on 300 beans, because that passed from the one farm, the one product, the USDA have never tested for glyphosate since. So when you see, like the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15 and the high levels of pesticides, like don't have strawberries because they're known for high levels of pesticide. A lot of that is built on the USDA data, not the which doesn't include the glyphosate rating, which is, like I said earlier, the most commonly used herbicide. In fact, it's the most widely used chemical in the agricultural world today. Like, it's the biggest pesticide out there, right? So they didn't test for that. So I actually couldn't believe that. I mean, that's not why I was writing an article. I was just writing about its widespread use and whatever. But when I found that, obviously I was stunned, and that's why I've had to split this article into two parts, because I wanted to cover that in a little bit more detail. So there we go. Here's your fun fact for the day. If you have no idea what glyphosate is and Roundup is, or prior to this video, then make sure you check out my site, alexfergus.com, because tomorrow there'll be a big part 1 coming out, and next week I'll do part 2. Next week I'm going to look at like the health effects of it. But it is really, it's kind of scary stuff. I mean, the more I learn about it and the more of these studies I pull up, the more I'm looking at it, I'll be thinking, all right, what's not organic? What could be potentially tainted with glyphosate in here? Especially as we want to have family and have kids in the coming years, and it's been linked to birth defects and all that sort of stuff. But anyway, I don't know how this affects the USDA organic label. Like, I don't know if that particular certificate has glyphosate testing in there. That's something I might have to look at tomorrow morning. Because if that's not on the label, then that's kind of crazy. I would assume it has to be. Saying that, I did find one report that tested 10 Californian wines, 9 of which were conventional and 1 was organic, and all of those wines had tested positive for glyphosate, including the organic wine, which is very scary. Now, the number for the organic wine was a lot lower than the conventional wines, so it was better, but it still had glyphosate in it. Now, a big part of this could be due to glyphosate's exposure. It remains in the soil, despite Monsanto coming out saying it breaks down to nothing and it's no more dangerous than table salt. Lots of tests, again, this will be in the article, that show how it stays in the soil for a long time. So maybe that's why the farmers come in and plant that. The other thing is, though, it's been tested in rainwater, been found in rainwater, groundwater. So you could be in the most growing the most pristine grapes with following all organic procedures and everything's natural, but then the farmer next to you is spraying, with tractors and spraying Roundup all over the place. that's getting caught up in the wind, or it's coming down in rainfall. Like, what are you meant to do there? Or you buy a property that has heavy exposure to Roundup, though I'm pretty sure they do soil testing on that. But all this stuff is concerning. I mean, I've been looking for properties over the last few weeks, and I'm very aware of this. I mean, I'm asking the previous owners if they sprayed on there, but I'm also looking at the properties around us. Are they likely to use a lot of chemicals? The drinking water, like, can we get a spring that's going to be clean? All these things that may be crazy, but it's something that I'm concerned about, and I think my partner is concerned about, and we want the best for our kids. So again, you can read the why you need to be a weirdo to be healthy to learn a bit more about that. But anyway, this article will be coming out tomorrow. I'll put it on Facebook probably tomorrow night. Otherwise, the website, newsletter subscribers always get it first, so subscribe at alexfergus.com and you'll be the first to know. There's a 2-part series, so stay tuned for next week as well. I'm going to do one more sprint. This wind's starting to pick up, so wish me luck, and I'm going to do some sprints in the background while the sun goes down. Not too shabby, huh? Alright guys, bye.